Okay, my gimbal died, but luckily it's apparently balanced enough so I can keep my phone just that way and not shake too much.
I mean, the fancy selfie stick has always been one of those things.
Valid.
Oh yeah, do they even know that I call it the fancy selfie stick?
Yeah, maybe. If true fans would. Welcome everybody back to episode 224 of V-Time. Oof. Sorry. I teared up a little bit, 24.
You know what's even funny?
Oh, come on, you gotta get that reference.
I have no fucking idea what you're talking about. But you know what's funny than 24?
Kobe, 24.
Clearly. I don't want to make a joke. I was going to say, the joke didn't land, and neither did Kobe.
That's a great start of the episode. So we got a jam-packed episode for you guys. And if the start of this episode is going to be any indication how it's going to go, holy balls, strap in. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
It sure is. We're going to have nothing but turbulence.
Choice of words there was intentional at both ends. I will say that. Anyway.
Hey, yes, a package for Mr. Top Deck Heroes.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks. Mr. Top Deck Heroes? Mr. Top Deck Heroes, your package. Man, another one? What is with this guy? Mr. Top Deck Heroes.
Again. Oh, Melody again.
Mr. Top Deck Heroes, your package. Oh, God, thank you, that was heavy. What's in that one?
Oh, trading cards.
Cards. Was every one of them cards?
Yeah.
How can you afford that?
Oh, that's interesting you say that. I got it from this place called
Secret.
Man, these people are crazy.
It's no secret. 50 cards. Use code TDHeroes for a discount.
Let's start us off. Now, we did say the V-Times were usually going to do high rarity stuff only, but there have been some very interesting leaks in the common slots as well, so we're going to cover basically most of it. And we're going to start us off with a common grade 1 called Electric Corrosion Monster Biri Juju.
I like Biri Juju.
Exactly. It's a grade 1 that says auto rearguard when this unit boosts. If your order zone has 3 or more set orders with different card names, put a set order from drop on the bottom of the deck and this unit gets 5k until the end of turn. Now, actual implications, this can go really easily into Eva with her new engine, because not only is she playing the monster order now, she's potentially playing her own grade 1 research as well as the necessary grade 3 research. So you can have the necessary 3 researches and put other orders on the bottom to find them with poison and just keep the engine going.
Isn't this more bat support?
Exactly. This could also be bat support. Now, as a bat enthusiast, I will say that while this is a cool effect, there's no space for such an effect. You in bat, you really only have 3 spots for rear guards for any units. Everything else needs to be orders and bat and BGs and stuff like that. So those 3 units at this current moment of the build, or at least mine, are Habitable Zone that lets you play more orders, which is the obvious choice. The Monster promo that lets you grab your Persona rights from Order Zone, so therefore constantly being able to cycle your Persona rights and keep Persona riding. So again, obvious why. And at this current moment, the new set 2 grade 1 for Brengay, the Ghost of Soul looks top 5, adds a grade 2 or greater or an order card to hand. That one's good because it not only soul charges, it's a 13k, but it can also find you your orders, your habitable zones, your persona rides, your monster grade 2. It just checks a lot of boxes. So whatever card that's not a set order comes out, whatever unit card comes out that is potential for bat, it needs to do something that can replace one of those 3 cards. And at this current moment, this is not it.
Fair.
Another deck that this can actually go into is Velstra. Velstra actually has a lot of different set orders.
Oh yeah, that is true. All the product orders.
Exactly, and now you can put more of your products back in the deck and potentially find them again and play them again. Or if you've missed one, let's say you only have one maximum, now you can put another one into deck, and it's potential. It actually has potential. For a common, it's very interesting. Speaking of stuff that's interesting.
Yeah, it's not really interesting.
I find it interesting that we're getting a new set of commons with a gimmick.
No, it's not interesting. So, what we're referring to is a grade 3 named Divine Sister Grenita. It is a grade 3 that has a 15k base power, and its skill is continuous. This card cannot be ridden, and if you do not use a divine skill this fight, this unit cannot attack. And auto rearguard when this unit attacks, this unit gets plus 2k for every to end of that battle for each of your rearguards, including itself. So like,
hey man, it's not bad.
It's not bad, but like, it's also, we're also gonna prelude into this, but like, it's one of those like Shield Fisher-esque things that it just was there for no fucking reason. And so, yes, you prelude into that.
So look at it this way. On her own, she will always be a 17k because she does count herself. On a full board, she'll be getting another 12k power, which means she can get to 27 on her own, which is honestly not the best number.
It's not the best number, but also you have to have used your your divine skill
that fight. Which means at this current moment, only 3 decks can use it. Razza,
Leo,
thank you, and the upcoming Alden.
Which, so far, none of them are right off the bat. You want to use it immediately as fast as like Wellstra. Well, that we know, we don't know Alden's yet, you know?
Yeah, like this one in Razza doesn't have Fate. You have Gigantic Rusher. That's honestly a better. It gets 28k. This in Liel, sure, you can potentially have a reoccurring beat stick, but I don't think you need it. And then, like I said, we don't know what Alden does. All right, moving on. The Tuesday stream happened, and it promised us 2 cards for Blandmeyer and 2 cards for Raziel. You can tell by Hector's grin. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to cover the Blandmeyer cards. Hector, you can cover whatever semblance of Raziel support we got. And yes, some got more love than others.
Clearly.
Starting off with Blandmeyer, we have first a rare Steam Fighter Urnensch. It's a grade 1 that says auto when this unit is put on guard in circle if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard. Blandmeyer's card name. Soul Blast 1 until the end of that battle. This unit gets continuous when this unit would be retired from Guardian Circle, bind it face down instead of retiring, and shield 10k.
It's so
not a too bad of it. So on paper it is good, but honestly, after playing Blandmeyer, and yes, that video is recorded, it'll be coming out soon. It honestly doesn't have space in Blandmeyer and doesn't serve a good purpose. Sure, you have a 10k shield, but you only have a 10k shield if you Soul Blast 1. And then it's great for it to bind itself, but unless you're trying to go for a turbo Blandmeyer divine skill, binding itself really doesn't do much. And the thing that's honestly hurting me the most for this card is the Soul Blast, because you want to keep a certain number of soul in your soul to activate Blandmeyer's effect. So Soul Blasting 1 is really hurting you if you don't have really good soul charging after that.
Fair enough. I mean, it's a nice 15k shield if you needed it, you know, that does something else. Like I said, like on paper, it looked nice, which was, I would have loved if we got something similar.
Yeah, but like I said, if you're not trying to go for a turn 1 Blandmeyer, because you technically can, if you are lucky, and you see, let's say, actually, no, you can't even turbo Blandmeyer this because it needs a Blandmeyer Vanguard. So no, you can't even.
Yeah.
You can't use the effect if you don't have Blandmeyer. And if you have Blandmeyer Vanguard, you're already bound 4. So you're going to do Divine Skill on turn 4 regardless of discard or not. So yeah, it doesn't actually change anything.
It's just there.
Now, the other card, on the other hand, it changed everything. Because Blandmire's decks right now have been really set on what they're running. A lot of them, myself included when we tested, because it was an obvious reason, were running the order, grade 3, that says, on play, soul charge 1, choose a card from your soul, call it to rearguard, and it gets 5k. Because Blandmire has a lot of selective and non-selective normal unit soul charging, it was really good to have some utility and, you know, get certain pieces that might be in your soul out of your soul. Well, it got a triple rare that said, you know what, you can take that order out of your deck and get something better. Because we have Vro Dragon. It's the grade 2 from Blandmire that says, auto, when this unit is placed on rearguard other than during the battle phase, soul charge 1, it's a mandatory soul charge. Counterblast 1, choose a grade 2 or less card with a different card name from, a different card name from this unit from your soul and call it to rearguard. If your Vanguard is Blandmire in its card name, at the end of the turn, if your Vanguard without Blandmire in its card name, at the end of the turn, put that called unit back into your soul. And then the important part here, continuous rearguard during your turn, this unit gets 10k for every 4 face down cards in your bind zone.
So, considering you already recorded, did you read the card correctly?
Yeah, we're gonna have to re-record. Well, which is good news because we already had incentive to re-record for different reasons. So now we're definitely have to gonna re-record. Reading is hard.
Reading is hard.
I honestly thought that it was grade equal to or less than your Vanguard from Soul, which honestly, now that looking after the fact, would have been broken. It is not. It's basically the dual nation card, but instead of gaining 5k, it calls something out and it gains 10k if you meet the conditions. So in a sense, it's basically better.
Well, you had now have something to be re-record.
I know. I'll put it against Levy Dress. That'll be fun. We'll see. I do like this card. Just want to say because during your turn, this gets 10k for every 4 face down cards in your bind zone. Means that at 8 cards, when you use Divine Skill, this is a 30k on its own. If you Persona Road, 40k. So this is a beefy bubba.
Yeah, I mean, considering it looks like a big ass motherfucker, so yeah.
Overall, great quality of life for Blandmire. Anyway, Hector.
We got, technically it's not even a Razio card because it does not have anything for the name of Razio. It just has the Divine Skill. But it's a grade 2 called Sacred Edge Dragon. Its skill is auto when this unit is placed on rearguard. If your Vanguard has Divine Skill, cost Counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's back row rearguards and put them at the bottom of the deck. So which means this goes into Razio technically, but I also go Alden and Leo. So this is where I'm like, the fuck?
You got a technical Razzael card that doesn't have Razza in the name? You got Razzael support.
Bullshit. I was promised Razzael support. You got 2 cards that, you know, help out Blandmire, even if one of them is not as good as the other.
You got a technically a Razzael support card, good sir. It helps the deck. It goes into the deck. It doesn't have to have the Razzael name.
It's a technical Divine Skill support. Not Razzael, but rather
it's
just
Razzael support, man. It's Razzael support.
It's Divine Skill.
Mm-hmm.
I'm salty about it.
To be fair, you do have very much. I agree with you. There is salt to be had.
Yes. And then the other saltiness, this just adds on salt. Because I was thinking, well, we're getting another grade 1, you know, like you also got. But no, it is a grade 0 named Knight of... How the fuck do you use that? Perspicacity or something.
Perspicity.
Catellus. Anyways, Its skill is when this unit is placed on rearguard, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Razza in its card name, choose one of your units and it gets 5,000 power until the end of turn. If the unit was placed by your Vanguard's ability, it gets 10,000 power instead of 5k. So automatically the fact that it says any unit is nice, which means you could also give it to your Vanguard if you so choose, and I did that technically. The other ability, continuous back row rearguard, which I'm sad about. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Razza in its card name, this unit gets intercept and can intercept from the back row. I wouldn't be so mad about this if the intercept also got an extra 10k like your grade 1. That's all it does, just an intercept from the back row that's a 5k. Like, could have given me an intercept for 15k.
I mean, it's basically a 5k extra. Like, think of it this way. It's the same as if you had a card that got called to board and plussed your card. Instead of plussing a card like Dog that goes away, this stays on board and it's like a 5k in hand that you could potentially use to guard with. That's the way you need to view it. It's not the best, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's better than nothing.
It's not bad. It's not necessarily. It's not the worst card in the deck, but it's also just, not the best card either.
Speaking of which, perspicity. A noun, the quality of having a ready insight into things, shrewdness, the perspicity of her remarks. Similar words are perceptiveness and shrewdness.
I could see that. I mean, most players will realize, like, you really don't use much your starter. Like, you can run it in your main deck if you want one of, or you could run multiple copies. That's totally up to you. But most players use to call a Saragon and a grade 2 or something else that just gives you extra hand advantage. Like the whole thing we're talking about. It's like early game, if you have the ability to do so and you have no other choice, fine. It's nice to call it out. So
I recently played against Crow in the VPL tournament. It's going run now. And it was Velstra versus Razza. And he's playing, of course, a set 2 Velstra, and it's honestly a powerhouse. The amount of draw you can get is kind of bullshit. He saw dogs early. He managed to see the order early. Like, everything was going right.
Yeah.
The way he played it, he intentionally stated 1 damage going into Razza's turn. And then on Razza's swing, because he used certain abilities, the order combo with the grade 2, on Razza's swing, he called dog to back row and his starter to the front row, just so you can have a column swinging.
Mm-hmm.
Do the same combo with this card. Not only do you have a 19k column, now you have a 29k column swinging. So it's over the 28k mark, which is good. You still do your dog combo, which you want, and you ask your opponent for more shield than they want to give.
Mm-hmm. But that's also the same thing, like we were talking about, where it's like where everything goes right. If he was getting enough cards to be able to block it to keep himself at just 1 damage to do that on purpose, he's either using a lot of shield early and also getting it back to be able to do that.
It really comes down to what decks you're playing against. If you're playing against something that in turn 1-2 doesn't push enough to put you at high damage, you can potentially stay at 1 damage. Mm-hmm. If you're playing against something that can really be heavy hitting, like super early game, stuff like Roa, stuff like Flame G, stuff like that, you're more likely not staying at 1 damage. So it really does come down to depending on the matchup.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, it's not the worst card. It's also not the best card. It's always an option to have it there. Of course, if you do if you do run it as your starter, it would go in second. You do lose that extra draw, but the Razza has more than enough draw power to kind of mitigate.
We mentioned this in the Razza video that we recorded. It'll be coming out later. Mm-hmm. The 1 extra draw that you lose if you go second, so it's like a 50-50, let's say, that you lose the draw. Mm-hmm. Because it's the same mentality that people were doing with Trickstar to starters. So if that worked there, this should work here. So the extra draw you're losing, the extra power you're getting whenever you do use this ability is forcing your opponent to take 1 more card out of their hand. So every time you use this, your opponent potentially has to guard with an extra card out of their hand because of the power increase on the board. So in the grand scheme of things, you're not plussing, but you're negging your opponent more, so it kind of balances out.
Yeah. So, yeah, there it is. It's alright.
I know you wanted better. Just wait until set 5. You're more than likely going to get something there.
We better get something
Anyway,
there.
moving on. You mentioned this earlier, and we're going to talk about it. We have another common great one for Stoy called Headlands Assault. And it's very interesting because we see a familiar name pop up again. It's a great one that says, act drop zone if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Shield Fisher and its card name. Energy Blast 3, call this card to open rear guard. Choose one of your Vanguards and it gets 5k until the end of turn. And for people who don't remember, Shield Fisher is an 18k base grade 3 Vanguard, which means this ability alone makes it 23 immediately.
Mm-hmm. For Shield Fisher, this is an absolute wonderful card. It gets your effects off right off the bat and don't have to worry about anything.
Exactly. Because Shield Fisher can't swing unless you superior call something or play an order, right? Or something of that sorts.
I think it's something if you call something from the drop zone.
I think something needs to get superior called from drop in order for Shield Fisher to even swing.
Yeah.
So this, like you said, checks off all the boxes.
Yeah. My only concern is, why the fuck to give Shield Fisher to this?
Look, man, commons need to go to common decks.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing: is like this kind of is like a little slap in the face. It's like they could have used this to, make a new Flagberg or a new some kind of story. This like the same thing they did with Barrow Magnus, which we're also going to talk about. Or knew something, but like this literally just feels like filler. They had nothing better to do.
Look at it this way. Look at it this way. Set 4, I believe. Oh, let me check. So set 4, I might not have gotten announced how many stuff we're getting. I think we are getting 12 triple rares, which means wait, what? That can't be right. No, that's not right. That's not
18.
Right.
18
we're getting
because
18
all 6
triple rares,
nations,
right?
All 6 nations. So 2 are going to go to Levy Dress, obviously.
So yeah, see, that's what I'm trying to say. Is if it follows trend, we're more likely getting a generic triple rare for each nation, right?
Possibly. I don't think so.
Actually, I might retract my statement. We might not.
I think it might be going towards Zorga.
It might be going towards Zorga. No, actually, hold up. We might not be. I don't know. It's actually really weird. It's actually going to be really weird because Barrow Mag. We're talking about. Actually, let's get to it and we'll talk about that.
Well, okay, hold on,
real quick.
Yeah. We're gonna do it in a second. Well, the way I was thinking it, Razza got a triple R. Varga is getting a triple R. So kind of goes in line for it to be Zorga and then other stuff.
We'll talk about it now. Here's my mentality, right? If everybody thinking 3, right? Varga is getting a triple rare. Razel got a triple rare. Blantmeyer got a triple rare. We can start assuming that each one of the original divines are going to get a triple rare. So Velstra is more likely going to get a triple rare. Chris Rain's more likely going to get a triple rare. And Zorga is more likely going to get a triple rare. So that's all 6 of them. So that's 1 of each for each nation. Then you have 2 left. One of them has to go to the new divine units. Oh yeah, now I know. Oh, never mind. I completely just fixed my brain. I just realized why we got Barrow Magnus is because we fucking didn't get Liel in this set. We're getting Liel in the next set.
Yeah, there you go. Liel's coming in the next set, so that's why Barrow Magnus got 2 of them. Barrow Magnus got 2, right? Well, we'll say here in a second.
1. Barrow Magnus got 1.
So that's why Barrow Magnus, Blankmeyer, and whatever left over is. I actually don't know what the last one will be.
Well, when we get there, we'll get there. Talk about the next card real quick. Just run through it.
It's a grade 3 Tidal Explosive Dragon, Hadal Crash Dragon. This is essentially a Stoy clone of the Divine Sister, where this cannot be ridden, and if it did not use a Divine Skill this fight, this cannot attack, and it gets 2k into the end of battle for every 5 cards and you drop. This is the only difference. Actually, hold up. Auto rearguard. When this unit attack, this unit gets 2k to the end of battle for every 5 cards you drop. That is a little different.
So the other one can only max out to plus 12.
10, because it said only rearguards.
Oh, is the other one only rearguards?
According to what Matt
I
said.
thought it was units.
According to what Matt said.
Wow, reading is harder. When she gets 2k for each bit. Oh yeah, rearguards. Yeah, so it can only max out to 10.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad. So that one can only max out to 10. In order for this one to max out to 10, you have to have 25 cards and drop. But you can't have 30 cards and drop, so it can gain another 2k. You can have 40 cards and drop and gain another 2k. If you have 45 cards and drop, something's wrong. You might more than likely died.
Yeah.
But, you know, the potential's there. But yeah, that's the only small difference. Moving on. More of these combos. This time for Dark States, and another grade 1 common for something. Hector, I want you to guess for what this one is. Steam Fighter Labara. She's a grade 1 common that says, Continuous Soul, this card gets grade +2, and an auto rearguard when this unit boosts. If you have a Vanguard with grade 3 or greater, you may have this unit get 2k, making a 10k booster until the end of battle. If you do, at the end of that turn, put this unit into Soul.
What's that one? The Graham Grace counterpart.
Favernil.
Yeah, the first thing I thought was Favernil, because as soon as it said this card gets grade +2, I was like, oh, it goes into that one.
This is honestly a really good card for Favernil. It can really easily be spliced in. You have a booster, they'll go to Soul and be counted as a grade 3, so it checks off all the boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Good card.
You know,
Overall, just good card.
Yeah, I totally forgot about Grand Grace now that I'm thinking about it.
All right, next clone.
This one is the Dark Stage clone called Great Axe Rending Colossus. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I actually kind of like this art. The first skill this game of the divine skill, which would be Blagmire or Leal or whatever the hell it is. The secondary words are different. This when this unit attack, this unit gets 2k into the battle for every 3 cards in your soul.
They're idiots. I'm sorry, creative team. They're fucking idiots.
Oh, Bear or Magnus, anybody?
No, you can only do it with a divine skill deck.
Oh.
So it only goes into 2. So it only goes into Blandmire and the Leal that we're getting.
Now, well, we don't know if Leo's skill is going to be able to put a lot of shit.
That's my point. At this current point, 50% of the cards that this can be ran in don't want to run it because it'll gain no absolute power. Because Blandmire will never have 3 or more cards in Soul if you're doing everything correctly. It might have 3 or more cards in Soul turn 3. After that, fuck no.
Yeah. So it's fair to say that these grade 3 15Ks were not very useful.
There were an interesting effect that some of the Divine Skills decks can potentially be put in if you want to make a budget version. But as it currently stands, the Dark States one, especially for me, Blandmire cannot use it 1 bit for the second ability. And until we see Leo, and unless she has something that she hoards Soul, probably Leo can't use it either. Because think of it this way. If we're taking the whole 10k that the Keter one can actually easily get.
Yeah.
Keter getting a full board can easily get 10k power. The Stoicheia one needs 25 cards and drop for 10k power, which is also doable for Stoicheia decks. For this to get 10k power, it needs 15 cards in Soul. The only deck that ever wants to have 15 cards in Soul at all times is Bear Magnus. And last time I checked, that fucker did not have Divine Skill written on him.
Yeah.
That was my rant for a comment. I apologize. We got one more bundled here, and it was very interesting, so I wanted to cover it. It's a normal order grade 3 called Haunted Ball. Play this with Energy Blast 3, choose 2 cards from your drop, put them into Soul. Then if your Soul has 10 or more cards, choose one of your Vanguards, it gets 10k until the end of battle. For a rare normal order, it's honestly not bad. it's a way to soul charge without having to actually grow from deck, but all grab from drop, which means some decks might potentially look into playing this just to grab certain pieces from drop and put them into soul.
It's not bad. I'm a fan of selective charging.
Exactly. And then getting the 10 for most Dark Stage deck is not going to be too hard, so getting the extra 10k power will be nice.
You know what Matt just said? Hector. We're just going to go ahead and call this the video of rants.
The video of rants. And we barely started. So Thursday stream happened, and on the Thursday stream, we got to see so many support cards for our boy Vro Magnus. Well, I'm fixing some stuff because some stuff got broken. But Hector, start us off with Vro Magnus's fresh new ride line.
So, for the record, the starters say the same. So the grade 1 is where it's starts new. Pequot Miasma, or Picant, I don't know how the fuck you're gonna say that. I'll blame the French. Auto, when this unit is rode upon by Sanguini Tamer, Soul Charge 2, choose one of your Vanguards and it gets power plus 5k into the end of turn, which is not bad.
And it's generic. This can actually put in any deck.
Yeah, as long as you kept the 1 and 2.
Yeah. Depending on what decks want to soul charge like a shit ton, this actually could be very useful.
Mm-hmm. But it's something that it needed. It helps out the deck a lot. Agreed.
Anyway, time to talk about the grade 2. If I can fucking get to it. Jesus Christ. Sanguinar Tamer.
Sanguinary.
Yeah, nope.
Sanguinary.
Thank you. It's a grade 2 ride line now for Vro Magnus, and it's definitely an upgrade because it says when this unit is rode upon by grade 3 card with Vro Magnus in its card name, Soul Charge 2, then choose a grade 3 or less card from your soul, and you may call it to rearguard.
I mean, get out what you soul charge that you would like. I mean, that's pretty
And
good.
if you don't want to, you can just keep the soul, because look at it this way. Just from the ride line alone, by the time you get to grade 3, and if you chose to not pull anything out of soul, you're sitting at 7 cards in soul.
While you are doing that, for anybody who doesn't remember, Vro Magnus was actually the first main start deck unit that came out in DZ1.
One of the first. You're forgetting about Eugene.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm talking about the counterpart for the specifically for Dark States one.
Yeah.
Because Dark States had what was it? Dark States one? Bruce.
Bruce?
Yeah.
Bruh, insulting.
But yeah, Vro Magnus has always been one of those very just kind of there. And for the longest time, people have been asking, and now it is finally here with a new name of Providence Disorder Vro Magnus. The skill is Continuous Vanguard. During your turn, this unit gets 5k for each card with Vro Magnus in its card name in your soul. So I don't know if more of you are going to run the original. That's a Vro Magnus player thing. But the other skill, Auto Vanguard, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, costs Cannibalize 1 and perform all the following according to the number of cards in your soul. If you have 10 or more, you draw a card. This unit gets +1 critical until the end of the battle. Ew. 15 or more, choose any number of you and your opponent's rear guards, and you and your opponent put them into the soul. Then choose up to 2 cards from your soul, call them to rear guard, and they get 10k power. Talk about that more in a second. 20 or more, at the end of that battle, when your opponent would call cards from their hand to the garden circle, they must call 3 or more at the same time. First thing, it does not have where it's saying I will be called Vro Magnus as the other one, so there's that change didn't happen.
Yes.
The critical and draw a card still pretty nasty, but the main one is that it is no longer forcing you to put all of your and your opponent's rear guards. You can now choose the number that you want to put in, meaning boosters and shit.
Yeah, you can actually keep stuff on board finally.
Mm-hmm. And then the 20 or more for the 3 or plus. It's just it's nice. I don't know if you guys are going to be like purposely trying to reach 20 on turn 3, but
I don't think the game plan should be to reach 20 on turn 3 because of the increase in soul charge from the ride line and some of the other cards we're going to talk about. Getting to 15 became a little bit more stable, and you don't waste too many cards out of hand, and you do plus some back. It's still not great compared to other decks. You're still a little bit of a glass cannon, but you do still punch the same amount. You still get your numbers that you want. You still punch like a fucking train. If crits get checked, you are very dangerous. So it still does the Bear Magnus OTK strategy. It just does it more efficiently and potentially with more resource gathering back. The fact of the matter is, if you, after turn 3, going into turn 4, if you can get to 20 at that point, then you're probably sealing the game because you're getting your 5 attacks and all of them are, or 3 of them are going to be like, hey, your hand go ba-ba.
Read it.
It's on attack, counter plus 1.
No, it's only when this unit attacks the Vanguard. It doesn't say all of your units.
20 or more until the end of battle when your opponent... Oh, so it's only this one, yeah.
Yeah, it says when this unit attacks the Vanguard, it's this, and yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, don't fucking break it.
Look, man, Bear Magnus was waiting on the sidelines too long. Let me break it. Yeah, it's only for the battle.
That's where I would check. Like, if Flagberg can't do that shit, you can't do it either.
Honestly, that's still good.
Yeah, it still is good. It's still, like you say, get to turn 4, and it's still going to be extremely difficult considering the amount of attacks that you took on turn 3 and the amount of attacks you're going to take on turn 4.
It basically forces your opponent to go, oh, do you have Elementaria? No. Okay, -4 cards in hand or eat 2 damage.
Mm-hmm. And then you're either going to risk the crits or, they're going to go to the rear guards, which are probably going to be pretty big because fuck Swirler, ban Swirler.
All right, moving on to the Bear Magnus support cards. We're starting off with a very interesting one called Dance of Awakening Illusions Mafal. She's a grade 1 that says auto rearguard at the end of battle this unit boosted. If your soul has 10 or more cards, retire this unit, choose one of your grade 3 or grade Vanguards with Bear Magnus in its card name, and until the end of turn, reduce the cost of that unit's original auto ability by counter plus 1, basically making Bear Magnus free.
Mm-hmm. So you could technically...
I think it's...
No, you could have 0 damage and still work off Bear Magnus' skill.
Exactly. I think you're not going to be running this card in Bear Magnus because it does retire itself. It doesn't soul charge, so it's not going towards Bear Magnus' game plan at this moment. It's nice to have a free effect, but you have other cards that can do the same thing and counter charge, and and go to soul as well. So it's like maybe not.
Oh yeah,
this one's a maybe yes.
I like it. This one is a grade 3 Nourishment Governor Morax. When this unit is placed on rearguard, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Bear Magnus card name, Soul Charge 1, and this unit gets power 5k. It's a baiter basically. Then counter blast 1. Choose any number of normal units from your soul, return them to the deck, and shuffle it. This unit gets plus 5k to the turn for each card chosen by this effect. I mean, this motherfucker can get big for 1 turn.
Oh yeah.
But it's a pretty much a reset button if you're about to die.
It's just a nice way to put extra cards back into soul. Hell, it's a way to put perfect cards back from soul into deck.
Yeah. I mean, because if you're going pretty high enough to where you've soul charged most of your triggers, like, I doubt you're going to have 15 right away. But you're still going to have a decent number. You're still going to have cards to be able to soul charge again to get that number that you need. And it's just there to keep living.
Exactly. Overall, good quality of life card. There is a card that does the same thing, a grade 2. But I forget some of its restrictions. It's an old card. But it's, like I said, this one is nice. And then the last card the Bear Magnus got is a double rare. Grade 2 called Moment of Silence. Shoylen. Something like that. Its ability is auto when this unit is placed on rearguard from hand. Choose a grade 3 or greater card, a grade 3 card with Bear Magnus' card name from your ride deck, and you may reveal it. If you reveal the card, or you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Barrow Magnus in its card name, choose a card from your drop and put it into Soul. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Barrow Magnus in its card name, this unit gets power 5k until the end of turn. So it's a 15k when you're a grade 3. It puts selected cards from the drop into Soul in the early game, and its other ability is auto when this unit is put from rear guard into Soul by the ability of a grade 3 greater Barrow Magnus in its card name, draw a card. So, and it pluses you back.
Yeah. I mean, it's a nice, good quality card that Barrow Magnus needed. Also,
Quality
the art is
of life.
Yeah, the art is really fucking dope. I like this art.
This card shows its merits most because Barrow Magnus still runs ponies. Do you remember what ponies are?
Oh yeah, Soul Blast, Soul Charge 2?
Binded from Soul to Soul Charge 2, yes.
Yeah, the quote-unquote Dimensional Creeper clone-ish.
The reason this card really works well with those is because if you draw ponies, they're basically in your hand, unless you want to use Barrow Magnus effect to put them in Soul and wait a turn. You can now discard them, play this in the early game, and put those ponies from drop into your Soul.
So it has a use.
Exactly. And then, like I said, it's a really good effect to be able to go, all right, suck it in, call something else out. Hey, look, draw a card.
Yeah.
It just gives Barrow Magnus the extra little plusing it honestly did need.
Because if I remember correctly, they don't have many cards back then that if you went into Soul, draw or something.
Barrow Magnus turned into an OTK deck. It took all the damage, so it can use all the CB to get to the 15, punch you with like 60 columns right away, double critical Vanguard, and then finish its turn with maybe 2, 4 cards, 5 cards in hand.
Yeah.
With this, at least you can go from 5 to maybe 6, 7. Alright, moving on. That was Barrow Magnus. But now we gotta go into some Dragon Empire stuff. And lo and behold, some decks are finally getting more support.
Yeah. Which, if this is what's showing now, then I have a feeling that every other nation is also getting something like this. So what I'm speaking of is a grade 1 for Dragon Empire called Drag Ritter Amena. Its skill is auto. When this unit is placed on rearguard, choose a grade 3 or greater card with Triumph Dragon in its card name from your drop, and you may put it in the bottom of the deck. If you chose a card, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 card with Strafe Command in its card name from among them, reveal it, and put it in your hand and shuffle the deck. If you put a card, choose a card from your hand, discard it, this unit gets plus 2k. Plus 2k? Oh, because it's 10k. Okay, yeah. Plus 2k to the end of the turn. This is okay.
It's more support for the quick start decks that help the quick start deck mechanic. Being able to put Persona Rides back to deck to search them, to be able to Persona Ride next turn, as well as finding the necessary grade 3 that supports the Persona Rides. So it checks off a lot of boxes. They're basically getting constructed themselves.
Which is still kind of funny that they're still supporting the quick start decks.
The quick start decks have stopped trying to be unique, and they've basically turned into decks that are all going to be getting common and rare support. That's going to be very similar between them. That's going to be they're basically becoming into very guided decks. Like it's very obvious how to build it. It's very obvious what cards you want to put in. There's not much personality and imagination you can put into them with different cards to make it something that it isn't.
Mm-hmm. They pretty much want to say like, hey, here's a quote unquote budget deck.
Yeah. And it continues on with a grade 2 common that's Drag Ritter Rashad. Says continuous rearguard during your turn if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Triumph Dragon in its card name. This unit gets power 5k for each of your opponent's rearguards retired this turn. I believe that this current moment Triumph can only retire 1 to 2, so max he'll get 10k power. And continuous rearguard if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Triumph Dragon in its card name. All of your opponent's rearguards in the same column as this unit cannot move to Guardian Circle other rearguard, and it's active during your opponent's turn too.
Which this actually kind of stops a couple of things.
It stops your opponent from intercepting, and it stops your opponent from going, oh, look, I have this grade 1 in the front. Let's say you have a Selgon, right? Look, I have Selgon in the front row for some fucking reason. Call this. It's your turn. You can't move that Selgon to the back row anymore now.
But it also kind of hard stops Maelstrom.
True. Maelstrom's got to be really careful because it can't use that column. Hell, put 2 of these on the board and Maelstrom just goes...
Heroes.
Yeah, heroes too, yeah. So this could be a really cool counter to some move decks.
Yeah, it's just too bad it's tied up with the Triumph Dragon.
Oh, wait a minute. All your opponents are going to single element this can move to other...
Active and opponent.
Okay, it says Guardian Circle or other rearguard. I was going to break it, but I can't.
No.
My mind went into Michu because she moves the grade 1 onto the Vanguard, but it only prevents rearguard to rearguard, not rearguard to Vanguard, so it can't stop Michu. Anyway,
Yeah.
we might be seeing more of those types of cards, like Hector said, for the other quick start decks. So more likely to see a grade 1 that puts the thing on the bottom, tries to search for the grade 3, and then gains 2k power. As for the grade 2 like this one, I don't know if we're going to see anything different. It might gain power 5k for depending on what their mechanic is, and something interesting. So this might be the flavor the decks were missing when it comes to commons.
Because I mean that skill isn't. It's nice.
Isn't too bad, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Right,
like it's just
moving
kind of
on.
like, oh, didn't expect to get it.
Moving on to a promo that got revealed that puts a smile on my face as well as a lot of other people's faces, because the amount of cooking we're gonna be doing is immeasurable. So Hector, I want you to pay attention to what I'm about to say. This promo is a grade 3, and its name is secretly introducing Astrum behind Velstra's back, #BlitzCO. Black. That's its name. Its effect is act Vanguard. Once per turn cost, discard a card from your hand, choose a product from your order zone, operate it, and if your order zone has a 3 or more set orders, this unit gets triple drive until the end of turn. Its other ability is auto Vanguard once per turn. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, counterblast 1, choose one of your rear guards and stand it.
This is like Welstra, not Welstra.
You don't get it. It has Velstra, Blitz, and Astrum in its card name.
Yeah. Oh,
You can use any card that says you have to have that name in the name in this card. Any card.
that, yeah, I can see now why you guys are wanting to cook.
Hold up. It's right here. One sec.
Oh boy. What's he getting now?
For example, set 1 introduced this nifty little grade 3 that says, when this unit is placed on rearguard from hand, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Astrum in its card name, counterblast 1 and draw a card. Cool effect. Auto front row rearguard. Once per turn, when your other unit stands by a card's ability, Soul Blast 1, and this unit gets 2k until the end of turn. If you Soul Blasted a grade 3 or greater card with Astrum in its card name, for this cost, stand this unit.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Hector, there's so much cooking to be done here. Because you can go multiple different directions. Because you can try to find a way to play the Astrum order, because whenever the Astrum order stands something. Whenever you stand with your Vanguard, it gives 5 kit to the Vanguard and the units stand. So you can potentially play the Astrum order to give more power to standing units. You can deploy products, which you already know how Velstra plays. And this has an act ability, discard a card to operate. So you can operate Maximum to neck 5. You can operate Louisville to look at top 5 and call a card to board for a discard. You can act a fucking dog if you want to and, you know, get a dog on board. So it has multiple uses there, and it's a discard. So you can discard dog to soul charge, or you can discard the new promo. Remember the new Velstra promo we talked about? The one when it's discarded it does shit?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you'll be cooking somewhere.
Not to mention, here's just a small glance at a combo, right? Swing rear guard, it's fry height, Soul Blast 2, operate, bounce maximum. Swing Vanguard, restand fry height, swing maximum, swing fry height, Soul Blast 2, bounce maximum, call a new maximum, swing maximum. This is just a sample.
Somebody, somewhere, is gonna win something big with this.
Dude, there's potential here. I can't wait to cook. Oh, this puts a smile on my face. You're gonna say something?
No, I'm trying to figure out the lore behind this secretly introducing Astrum behind Wallstrom back to Blitz. So I'm curious. So Astrum is not part of Blitz already?
I think Astrum is like a Blitz product. Like he's something that was made by the Blitz company type deal. No clue. You're the lore man. You figure it out later.
Yeah, I'll look it up and figure out what it is.
I'll be over here trying to break this deck. Honestly, if we get this in English, but maybe even in Japan, we might actually see some tops with this deck. I'm not even gonna lie. It has potential.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, it's somewhere somebody's gonna be able to, win something with this.
All right, moving on. That's been it for the leaks. So we're gonna start the news section of this thing. And the first bit of news, and a lot of bit of news we got to talk about, so we're gonna go through it a little bit fast, is the fact that we have more information on the Hari and Night Rose Stride deck sets. And the first confirmation,
that thing is on the left.
The what?
I don't know what in the world is that thing on the left.
Do you not recognize him? We are getting Jester, Demonic Dragon, Lunatic Dragon.
I do not remember him back from Hari. He looks way different. I remember Ghost King Obadiah over here.
Hector, Lunatic Dragon, this is his third print, technically. He had a Stride, he had a Grade 2 version in V, and now he's a Stride again. Anyway, Hector not being a Pale Moon enthusiast, yes, we're getting also Obadiah.
I was always more into Night Rose, Ghost King, everything.
More like, we already know that Hari and Night Rose are going to be the main Strides, and these more likely are going to be the first Strides. Your Drag Rider Luards, your Amnesty Messiahs, your, forgot what Jet has. I legitimately forgot what Jet has. Anyway, so the point stands.
Yeah.
And then we have a card list of stuff we're getting. So we're getting, of course, for Hari, Jester, Demonic Dragon, and Hari as the Strides. Of course, we're getting Mass Illusion Hari. We're getting Flying Manticore as the support grade 3, which more likely is going to be the Ditch Draw grade 3. Card Dealer Jacqueline is coming back. Direful Doll Ornette, which means potential Direful Doll support, depending on how they word the effect. Darkside Princess is returning. Moonlight Melody Tamer Betty is one of in the deck. Cutie Paratrooper is coming back, as well as Masquerade Bunny, more than likely the Strife Otter. Landing Assistant, Darkside Mirror Master is also making a return. Oh, interesting. There's two. Oh no, that's the OT. Never mind, ignore me. Hector, what are we all getting in the Night Rose? Do you see some familiar names?
Oh, obviously. It's Miss Phantom Pirate King Night Rose. Remember that. And of course, Ghosty Great King Obadiah. I love Ghosties. I used to play a Ghosty deck back in the day. And then for the grade 3s, we get Vampire Princess of Nightfog, Night Rose. And then Mighty Rouge Nightstorm. I think I remember him. I'm not entirely sure. I do remember Pirate Sword Columbard because they had a whole little combo is to make it a the Nile Griffin.
He's a ride line now.
He's a ride line now. He is the ride line, or is it Witch Doctor of? Oh, he's not the. Oh, I was hoping to be Witch Doctor of Necrolazy.
Necrolazy's back, basically.
Yeah, Necrolazy's back. I remember him. And then Marauding Shade. I remember the Marauding Shades. All those way before G, there were still quite a few shades that were used, but I remember him. Parting Shade. Pretty sure that's a PG.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, and then Cam the Ghosty, Tommy the Ghost Brothers. If I remember correctly, Tommy is the Strike Fighter. And then Witch Doctor of the Powder Bone, Negro Bone. Oh no, so Murad Party today. It's not the PG. Waterspout Jin is the PG. I remember him.
Yup.
And then Undying Departed Grenache. I think maybe that was already there.
That was already there. It's DOT, heals, everything else. There's no special grade zeros here.
Yeah, but saying Columbard, Necrolazy, and then some of the shades, Tommy. It's gonna be nice seeing those.
So overall, now we just wait until we get those. But moving on, we got to talk about the English conference that happened and recap real quick a little bit what all the information was. So I'm gonna go through some of this initial information. Huh?
Recap and rant.
Yes, we're going to go through some of the initial information real fast. If you want more information about this, go watch the product stream. It was really well done. Shout out to everybody participating. But quick points on some of the first few things. Vanguard Season 1 Anime to Life Showdown is going to be happening from August 1st to August 31. Basically, you can only partake into this tournament with ride lines that have shown up in the anime. So that's the gimmick of this tournament from August 1st to August 31st. Make a sense?
Makes sense. You know, pretty much all the Divine Z.
Exactly. So only stuff that showed up in the anime. Moving on. We are also getting a Yumenik Kesho Cup. Volume 1, apparently. It's going to be around a basically Bang Dream unit. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Bang Dream unit. And you can see it's going to be going from October 1st to October 31st. And participants are going to be getting a special promo crit, while the champion is going to be getting a playmat. Huzzah! Same thing for September for Dimensional Transcendence. But this time, the champions will be getting from the constructed. This is a constructed comp. 2 playmats, their choice of 1.
D-Robo or Venus Lukier.
Which that Venus Lukier one looks so fucking good.
I'll take the D-Robo.
You go ahead, my man. You and everybody else. Vanguard Day is returning from October 1st to October 31st. And this time, Yukari will be an energy marker for participants. And the championship will be getting a playmat of her.
I kind of want that. I already have the Akina. I need the, siblings playset, and I kind of want that mat.
Honestly, that mat looks legit to me because not only do you have her in the background, you have 2 more versions of her, but the future ones in the background as well. One with the mask, one without the mask.
Yeah, I like this.
So it's a nice nod. I agree. All right, let's talk about the ban list. We already knew, or we already heavily speculated what's going to happen. And yes, as did Japan, so did we. Choice restriction between Shiranui and the Overtrigger, as well as Luard and Sergon. We could see this coming a mile away.
Yeah, also no changes to Premium or V Premium.
There have, however, been more changes to Standard, And it is the fact that for
Willista.
For Velista, thank you. For Velista, we have the unrestriction between Elvira and Velshablon, as well as Jet is getting its unrestriction between Swirler and GG.
Ban Swirler all around.
Man, you really hate that card, don't
I
you?
fucking hate it. I don't know who was it, you or Lon, that just completely triggered PTSD on
Me.
Yeah.
Me.
I
It
hated,
was
but
me.
you and Bruce, I fucking hated that card. Because I could handle Bruce. Just fucking swirl it and made it every single time. Anyways,
I need
continue.
a reattempt to make Glass Cannon Bruce again. Anyway, this restrictions come honestly a little bit late. I think we should have got the Jet one sooner. I don't think that these unrestrictions are going to make the decks super strong. So it was good the fact that they did get unrestricted so the decks can be semi-stronger than they already were.
You know, I just noticed, where the fuck is Gandivas? Where's Striga?
Fuck no! You must be smoking something you think that needs an unrestriction this soon. After getting another restandard. No. Bad Hector. No.
I'm just saying, Willissa got its, thing free.
No.
So did Jet. And there
Bad
was
Hector.
and
No.
it was a trifecta of Willissa,
No.
Jet, or Gandiva.
No.
Moving
on.
Back one day.
Next to the Fighters Rules update, we also have the very much anticipated extra restriction to Stride deck sets, to where the only way you can have a G-Zone is if your ride line consists of all of the cards that came in the Stride deck set. So you cannot play the Soja Doji Grade 2 and Shiranui has mostly been the reason for this. Because every other Stride deck set wanted to run its ride line.
Or didn't care to.
Exactly. So now this will also apply for Night Rose and Hari when they come out. So you can't try cooking in the ride line with Stride deck sets. All of these updates to Fighter Rules will be effective August 9th, right before BCS starts.
Right before BCS. I can't remember if it's before or after set 3. I have to look it up later.
Well, speaking of BCS, we're starting us off with the Shop Challenge and Shop Challenge promos that are coming about. And this time around, the Shop Challenge promos are going to be the next set of promo packs, which do include some really cool goodies. Hector, do you know what they do?
I need nothing.
Well, you don't need nothing, but do you know what they do?
I remember the bug one is the one if you have 16, you can run up to 16 copies.
Yeah.
I see the Minerva order. I can't remember what the doggo does for Cater. I think
So
it's
Blaster's got a dog that lets you look at top 5 or 7 for a Blaster, I believe. I believe it's an effect such as that. I'm not 100% sure. I honestly do need to remember on the dragon. That's actually a dragon. I know we keep calling it a dog.
I fucking looks like a dog.
Yeah. And then
yeah.
Mega Colony is coming back with a weird gimmick. We have a Dragon Empire Grade 2 that is very generic but goes into Spino Blaze as well as any other deck that can potentially retire it for Energy Blast 3 draw. Blandmire is getting its Support Grade 1 that prevents Intercept and on boost puts cards from drop into Soul, which is honestly really needed for Blandmire. Heroes are getting Boba Main with a hero name, which is probably the biggest search card in this set. And then last but not least, we have a new vanilla technically, boss unit for Lyrical that forces you to play a vanilla deck if you want it to make your work.
Oh, really vanilla? Okay.
Yeah, it has effects, but it has one effect, I believe, that says you cannot place, period. You cannot place on Rearguard or Guardian Circle cards that have continuous auto or act in their ability.
Shit.
So basically, you can only place vanilla cards. Make sense?
Of course. Yeah, makes sense.
So that's been all. And like you said, reprints of the Order, some Zorga stuff, as well as the Lyrical 30k Shield Blitz. Moving on. Regional qualifiers. Here's an interesting fact. V Premium has been shoved out of actual regionals and will be only premium and standard. Hence, in regional qualifiers, you will get participation goods, one of which will be a BCS bag to kind of hold your stuff in, a promo pack, which more likely is going to be the promos we talked about, or maybe something else, as well as some other stuff. The junior college for Vanguard standard. All the participants will be receiving 2 sets of prize depending on the regional qualifier attended. All prizes will only consist of either set. So you get one of 2.
Which I'm really fucking pissed that why didn't they just put, the generators, swap them out, just put all the Dragon Powers in one and then all the Stoke in one. Why the fuck they gotta switch them like that?
I think it's not you pick set A and you get only set A. I think depending on the thing you pick either A or B. I'm not 100% sure.
I think it's if like whatever your location is, whatever the location is gets set A.
Or maybe no, it's either set. Yeah, so it might be just everything in that set.
Yeah, like that's what I was saying. Like if it is just like, if Duluth only has set A stuff, we only get the whatever his name is, Baldi's, with the Dragon Empire crit mat and the Dragon Empire OT, rather than
Well, look on the bright side. At least we're getting more prizes for top 8.
Yeah, because it's the top 4, and top 8.
V Premium, however, is not dead. It's actually been moved to a side event. So V Premium now is a side event where you can win participation, top 8, and championship promos. And then free fight tournaments are still participating where you can get basically the Divine Skill Energy Generator card, which honestly does look very nice.
I really do kind of like I'm going to participate in the free fight just to get the promo, but I kind of want the champion one.
Right? Anyway, speaking of BCSs, we do have some locations already put out in place. For Europe, we have only 6 locations. That's going to be Austria, Portugal, Spain, the UK, France, and Netherlands.
Even though this one only has 5.
I'll put the graphic up has 6. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Editing magic. My plans, because I am in Europe at this current moment, we'll see how in 6 months it may change. But for right now, my plans are to hit Austria, Spain, the UK, and the Netherlands.
What's wrong with Portugal?
It's too close to Austria.
Portugal?
In the sense of dates. Granted, January, February, March is when I'm going to be going as well. So that's a terrible excuse. But at least I have gap to kind of save up for those 3.
Yeah, true.
Moving on though, for some fucking reason, North America and Latin America got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
14.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 locations.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I don't know. It's cool.
I mean,
but,
at least they did split them up. Half are within the U.S., other half are not with the U.S. But still, the whole North America, I get it.
Any locations stand out to you, Hector?
Well, let's see. Was Peru ever in there the first time? Like,
actually, Peru, I think Peru might have been, but not too long ago. Same thing can be said for Sacramento, California. Like they were actually, or Pasadena, one of the North Californias has not been touched in a while. Yeah. And not to mention the 2 Californias we're getting, neither of them are Anaheim.
Yeah, neither are Anaheim or. Yeah, that's neither one are Anaheim. They have Pasadena and Sacramento.
I think the only things that have reappeared is San Jose, Costa Rica, Duluth and Houston have always been. I think Mexico City has also always been.
Yeah, Mexico
Philadelphia, I want to say, is new.
Yeah, Philadelphia, sure. I think is. I don't think I've ever heard of us ever going to like Philly, which is I think is why they switched from New York to Philly, which I know a lot of people are not happy about that one because
Vancouver, I think, is also been.
Yeah, it was either Vancouver or Ontario. Which Ontario
or Toronto?
No, Toronto. No, I think Ontario was always.
No, Toronto's right there.
Yeah, Toronto's there, but I think they also had like Ontario, Canada, one of them. I don't know.
And then
Tampa, Florida.
Tampa, Florida. When was the last time we went to Florida for BCS?
I remember, I want to say years ago, like with G format, that Florida was in there, but it's been a while.
I know, right? So very interesting new locations and very interesting new relocations. And there's still talk that they might add New York.
Okay, so then I know a lot of people are liking New York.
And then last but not least, Asia Oceania. Not sure if this got updated or not, but at this current moment that I'm reading, it has only 5 locations. Philippines, Austria, Melbourne, Sydney, Australia, Singapore, and Malaysia.
Apparently they get updated. Also, Indonesia is included in there.
Oh, there we go. Indonesia included as well. So it's also got 6 locations. And, you know, Asia and Europe have 12 locations together. And then you go to America and it's like 14, 13, 14. It's like, huh. That's fun. Ain't it fun, Hector?
It's a great time to be American.
Well, hopefully that happens for me sooner than later. Speaking of BCS, there have been some regulation changes. Specifically, Swiss and Top Cut have changed their time rules and basically increased everything by 5 minutes. So standard will be 30-minute rounds, premium 35, Shadowverse 30 minutes, and Invite Switch 35. The unfortunate part here is the fact that when time is up, it will be a double loss. There is no extended time rules. There is no turn rules. The second 30 minutes or 35 minutes pass, it's done. And if the game has not been concluded through game state or by one of you two conceding, it will be counted as a double loss.
I just know for a fact there are going to be some petty ass people that are going to be like, no, I'm stalling out, and we're both going to get a loss.
I will put this opinion out there and take it with a grain of salt, and this might cause some drama, maybe. If you and your opponent see that you are about to hit time and there's no way to finish the game properly, do try to quickly and logically, without too much debate. If you guys can't come to a consensus right away of who should concede, then you're both going to be stubborn. Unfortunately, that's the way Vanguard players usually are. Mm-hmm. But if there is a quick and easy way to figure out immediately if one of you can concede and if it's a smart choice to do it, then do it. Because a double loss hurts both parties more than conceding and taking the L. Mm-hmm. Now, cases where this might happen, let's say your opponent is a 5 damage and you're a 3. And even though they might live your turn and guard it, you might not think they can clap back or they have enough resources to clap back. Like obvious board states. We actually had a very similar thing happen in Dula where we went into time. It was the double loss rules. And I was playing against Silverthorns. And we were healing like at the wazoo. It was going into things. It came to time, the judges came to us, and in that moment I conceded because there was no point of continuing. I gave them the win, it was fine. We continued our game after that. So we jotted down loss and continued the game. And through gameplay normally, it came out that I would have won regardless because OT got hit towards the end, yada yada yada. But we couldn't have known that in that moment, so we just made a choice on the spot. I'll take the loss, you can win. It's better than the teams having double losses. But again, if there was 5 more minutes and the game actually played out, I would have won. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't matter. In that moment, you need to decide. Unfortunately, the rules are that way. It's better than a double loss, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I'm just saying there are some people who would say, fuck it, we'll take you down with me in this sinking ship.
Exactly. So I'm hoping that's not too many. Moving on. There's a couple more quick updates. My headphone is dying. I need to speed up. They have updated the product rule of when product is legal for tournaments, and now it is turned into 1 week instead of 2. So 1 week after product release, you can play these decks. For people in North America, this is actually good news for you because you can get your product and play it the next BCS the next week. For people in Europe, this fucking sucks. We already have a hard time getting our product on time, so now we have less time. So some people in Europe, if they can't get their product really fast, they can go into a BCS where it just became legal and they don't have it, and so they're immediately at a disadvantage.
Which, I'm already saying this, Peru, mainly Austria, and Duluth are the three that are come out facing with the set 4 meta, so Austria's going to have a fun time with that.
Exactly. So, you guys, whenever we get our stuff, fucking express ship it to me.
It's going to be less than a fucking week.
I know.
We gotta rent an airplane, take a private plane, bring it with us.
Anyway, original qualifier Cardfight Vanguard Premium will be participating in the top cut. Will receive an additional promo pack, as well as a top 8 playmat, and the top 4 will be getting a promo card. So more prize cards and more prizes for top 8. So which is good. It's basically letting you get more. And then of course in BCSs there's going to be apparently a side event for a anime quiz where one lucky person will get the Faded One of Time Liel Amorata and this secret version of her.
Which I say, it looks pretty fucking nice.
Agreed. Moving on. Okay, last bit of news before we talk. Actually, before we do that, last bit of news. As far as next week is concerned, yes, headphone, I get it. You're about to die. As far as next week is concerned, next Tuesday, we're getting 2 support cards. Sorry, no, we're not getting 2. We're getting a whole new ride line of leverage draws. 9 cards, new ride line, new support cards. Leverage draws fully coming out on Tuesday. For Thursday, we're getting 2-2. We're getting 2 support cards for Varga, one of them being triple rare, one of them common. And 2 support cards for Vanguard, a double rare and a common. Mm-hmm. Hector, you got your work cut out for you.
Oh yeah, this weekend I'm going to be rebuilding Vanguard, updating it.
Okay, so last bit of news before we end this episode here. Bushy Matt has officially left Bushy, so he is no longer Bushy Matt. He is just Matt.
Well, he was Matt the intern, or yeah, Bushy Matt.
He made a Twitter post. I will link it both up top as well as in the description if someone has not yet read it. But it's a very heartfelt one. Everything was left on good terms. It's basically he's turning a new chapter in his life. We will miss him. He was a pillar in the Vanguard community. He really showcased how to, with the image of the company behind you, interact with the public, with the player base. And he did an amazing job. I'm lucky to consider him a friend. Me and him are still in touch and we'll be playing a little bit. You guys actually might see him on the channel, wink wink. But for that, I felt like this was needed to be said and a good way to finish off V time. Agreed?
Agreed.
There we go. So with all that being said, we're finished V time here. Thank you so much for watching episode 224 of V time. If you like the videos, please like, share with your friends, comment down below what you're excited for leverage draws. Bushy Mat, anything and everything, BCSs, so forth and so forth. But if you like what we do here, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell to get notified, maybe even become a member for some awesome perks. But with all that being said, I've been Philip.
I've been Hector.
And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. All right. Just in time, because I'm pretty sure my headphone's gonna die, and if it dies, my audio just goes boop.